Hey guys, so here's the assembly for the new Highland cow that has the interchangeable bow ties. Okay, so I just want to show you real quick because there is one extra little step here. So the main part about the assembly for this one is you have to make sure that you're really lining your pieces up, okay, because you want that little slot there lined up. All right, so we have it all painted, and here's our backer. So this one's gonna go on top. Okay, so every layer you really just wanna make sure that you get it lined up there. So I always use the edges on the hair here. Get the feet on. Okay, so that's the easy part. All right, so now we have the notched part. There is two versions in this file. You have the notched one if you want to use the hats to go along with the ties, and you have one that you can just use the bow ties with. So two options. So this is the notched ones. Your hat will go in there. So we have to glue our hairpiece on. Now with this, you want to make sure that that top edge there gets lined up. So you want to kind of run your finger on that, make sure it's nice and flush. I try not to get glue right where that right where the center part is. Okay, so you want to line up that top edge there. Okay, now these two pieces will go on the back to help you attach the horns. They basically just hold the horns on because it has to be one layer so it doesn't interrupt, get in the way of the hats there. So the easiest way to do this is go ahead and glue your horn on here. Make sure it's lined up. So glue that on and then just apply some glue on this little tab that's sticking out here and stick it under. Just like that. And that holds your horns on there. All right, so now get the tail on first. Okay, so now for this piece, don't put your nose on first, okay? Because then we wanna make sure that this slot gets lined up perfectly. You're gonna attach your beard first, okay? Because this is the important part. This slot needs to be lined up, okay? Because our bows are going to sit in that slot. So we want to make sure those two layers there get lined up. You could use one of these pieces here to kind of make sure that it's perfectly lined up there. That's kind of like a little smart idea there. You can try that. Or you can just look down straight over the top. Okay, you want to make sure that that's lined up. If it's not lined up straight, you're going to have trouble getting your bows in and out. So take your time, get it lined up. Okay, and then get your nose on. All right, then when you do your bows, okay, Your bows are just gonna slide in that slot. So you're gonna take your bows, you're gonna turn them over, and you're gonna glue those bars on right in the middle, okay, of the back of your bow. You wanna make sure it's straight and in the middle. Now this is a flush surface, so even if it's a little bit higher or above, it's okay, it will still fit. Okay, so you're gonna glue them all right in the middle. Now, this is something you wanna kind of test out for your materials. There's 2 bars for every bow, all right? And you can tell here, there's 2 layers in here for this slat. So I would just start with 1, okay? And then go ahead and test them out. I gotta be careful because I have some glue on there. So test them out. You're gonna stick it right in that slot. You're gonna stand them up and make sure that it's kind of tight, okay? You don't want it super tight, and it's easy to take in and out, okay? But put it in your stand, and then go ahead and make sure that like the bows aren't falling out. They really shouldn't be, but depending on the kerf of your laser, which is, you know, how thick your cut lines are, it can cut this space a little bit bigger. So go ahead and test it out. If your bow is falling out, I mean, you know, it's gonna fall out if you shake it vigorously, but you know, if it's a little loose where it's kind of tipping over and falling out, go ahead and glue a second bar on. Now, when you're doing this though, you need to make sure that that bar is lined up. If it's not lined up, it's not going to slide in that slot. So we'll try and go ahead and put a second bar on. So you really, really have to make sure your ends are lined up, make sure the top edge is lined up, okay? And then that will give you more of a surface to hold that bow in. But you do have to make sure it's lined up there, okay? So really, really easy, just take your time with it. And they all will switch out. Obviously be careful when you're doing this when you have glue on your pieces, but how cute is that?